The more you explain yourself, the less people respect you. You think you are being clear. You think you are helping people understand you. But what you are actually doing is slowly training them to see you as someone who needs permission to exist. Think about the last time you said no. You did not just say no. You added reasons. You softened it. You tried to make it easier for them to accept. And in that moment, something subtle happened. You gave your power away, one sentence at a time. And here is the part that should make you uncomfortable. The people who get the most respect are not the ones who explain the best. They are the ones who explain the least. So what do they know that you do not? In the next few minutes, you will understand why one simple shift can completely change how people treat you without you saying more. And once you see this pattern, you will never be able to unsee it again. Most people believe respect comes from being understood, that if they just explain themselves better, people will finally get it. But that is not how the human brain works. When you over-explain, you are not giving clarity, you are signaling uncertainty. Every extra sentence quietly says, "I am not fully sure about this. Please agree with me so I can feel okay about my own decision." And people feel that even if they cannot explain it. Now compare that to someone who says less. Someone who makes a decision and delivers it clean. No extra words, no emotional padding, no hidden request for approval. There is a calm weight behind their words. It feels final. It feels certain. And certainty is what people respect. Not logic, not detail, not how well you explain your side. Certainty. That is why two people can say the same thing and get completely different reactions. One talks for a minute and gets questioned. The other speaks for 5 seconds and gets accepted. It is not about what they said. It is about how much they needed validation while saying it. And here is where it gets deeper. The more you try to be understood, the more you place your identity in other people's hands. You start measuring your decisions based on how they react. You adjust your behavior to avoid disapproval. You slowly disconnect from your own sense of direction. And without realizing it, you begin to shrink. But here is the part nobody tells you. It is not just hurting your image. It is quietly teaching you to doubt yourself. And the longer you stay in that loop, the more power you lose. Because every time you explain too much, you are handing control over to someone who was never supposed to have it. Every extra sentence is a vote against yourself. At first it looks small, just a few words, just trying to be polite, just trying to keep the peace. But over time, it adds up. People start questioning your decisions more. They feel like they can push back. They feel like you are open for negotiation even when you are not. And the worst part is, you start doing it to yourself. You second-guess simple choices. You replay conversations in your head. You think about how things sounded instead of what you actually wanted. You stop living directly. You start living through reactions. Be honest. What is one situation where you felt like you had to explain yourself way too much? Because once you see it in your own life, you will realize how often it happens. And here is the uncomfortable truth. You are not being misunderstood. You are being read perfectly. People see the hesitation. They feel the uncertainty, and they respond to that. That is why the more you try to convince them, the less convinced they become. So the real question is not, how do you explain better? It is, how do you stop without becoming rude or disconnected? The shift is simpler than you think, but harder than you expect. It starts with replacing explanation with statement. Instead of building a paragraph, you deliver a sentence. I will not be there tonight. And then you stop. No follow-up, no softening, no second attempt to make it easier for them. At first, it will feel uncomfortable, like you are being too direct, like you owe them more. But that feeling is not truth. That feeling is withdrawal from approval. Then comes the second step. You get comfortable with silence. Because silence is where your authority lives. When you stop filling space with explanations, people have to sit with your decision. And that changes everything. Now, the third step is where real change happens. You start building internal approval. You make small decisions without checking how they will be received. You choose what you want without running it through 10 imaginary opinions. At first, it is small. What you order, what you wear, how you spend your time. But each decision becomes a rep, and every rep strengthens something inside you that no one else can touch. Respect does not come from being understood. It comes from being certain. So here is a simple challenge. For the next 24 hours, do not explain more than one sentence. Say what you need to say and stop. Watch how people respond. Watch how you feel. Because once you experience that shift, you will realize something. You never needed more words. You needed more certainty. But there is one final piece. And this is what separates people who try this once from people who actually transform. The difference is not in what they do. It is in who they become. Most people try to change behavior without changing identity. They tell themselves, I should explain less. I should be more direct. I should sound more confident. But underneath that, they still believe something dangerous. They believe they need to be understood to be okay. And as long as that belief stays the same, the behavior will always fall apart under pressure. Because the moment someone questions you, the old pattern comes back. The urge to explain, the need to justify, the quiet fear of being judged. So the real shift is deeper. You stop asking, do they understand me? And you start asking, do I understand myself? That is where power comes from. Because when you are clear with yourself, you do not need to convince anyone else. You are not performing. You are not negotiating. You are simply expressing a decision that is already settled inside you, and people feel that immediately. It shows in how you speak. It shows in what you do not say. It shows in how little you react when someone disagrees. You are no longer trying to win approval. You are operating from alignment. That is what creates real respect. Not loud confidence, not forcing your opinion, not shutting people down. Just a quiet certainty that does not need validation to exist. And here is what changes when you reach that point. You stop overthinking simple interactions. Conversations become lighter. Decisions become faster. You feel less drained because you are no longer carrying the weight of other people's reactions. You start noticing something else too. People treat you differently. They interrupt you less. They question you less. They respect your time more. Not because you demanded it, but because your presence communicates something they cannot ignore. You are not asking for space anymore. You are taking it naturally. And the most important part is this. You do not feel the need to prove anything because you already know where you stand. That is the identity shift. From someone who needs to be understood to someone who understands themselves. From someone who explains to someone who decides. From someone who seeks approval to someone who gives it to themselves. If you are serious about building that kind of internal power, hit subscribe to NextMind. This channel is built for people who are done seeking approval and ready to take their power back. Now here is what I want you to do next. The next time you feel that urge to explain yourself, pause for a second. Notice the impulse. Notice the need behind it. And then do something different. Say less. Let the silence sit. Let people react however they react. Because in that moment, you are not losing connection. You are gaining control over yourself. And once you feel that shift, once it becomes addictive, you start choosing yourself in small ways, then bigger ways, then in the moments that used to control you completely. Until one day, you realize something has changed. You are no longer trying to be respected. You simply are.